China is acquiring not just 5th generation stealth platforms, it's acquiring 6th generation platforms as well. The MiG-21 is a Generation 3, Generation 3.5 fighter, so it's several generations older than what the state of the art presently is. India finds itself in a particular bind right now. Air power is evolving all across the world and in our region as well. Aircraft like the MiG-21 needed to have been replaced many, many years ago. Yes, there is the Tejas fighter aircraft which will come in online a couple of years from now in the numbers that we seek. But even then, there are those who say that there is a technology issue which needs to be looked at very, very closely about whether the India can actually afford to induct the Tejas in large numbers or induct perhaps stealth fighters in the interim period. One way or the other, there's been a strong link with the MiG-21. India has fought several wars fighting with this particular aircraft. It has also had a large crash rate, a crash number. The Indian Air Force doesn't want to accept the words widowmaker, but it has been associated with the MiG-21. More than 200 pilots and others have lost their lives as a result of crashes. It's been a difficult aircraft to operate. So it's a mixed sort of bag, a mixed legacy in a sense for the Indian Air Force. They clearly want to look at the future, but also in a sense look fondly back at the workhorse of its fleet, the MiG-21.
A 63-year journey is no joke. That is far older than most of us in a young country. Most of us don't even remember the MiG-21 and when it actually entered service. That is how long this legacy really is. So it is a difficult thing to say goodbye to a fighter. Take a look at the history and journey of the legendary MiG-21.
No journalist in India has flown in more fighters. The F-16, the F-18, the MiG-35, the Su-30 MKI, the Sea Harrier, the Tejas, the Gripen, the Mirage 2000. But there's one that's always eluded me. And now it's flying into the sunset. But I'll still be going to bid the MiG-21 goodbye. Tomorrow, Friday the 26th of September, will mark the end of an era for the Indian Air Force, one that's lasted more than 60 years. This jet, the MiG-21, will make its last flight. A fighter jet that's been synonymous with everything in the Indian Air Force: attack, defense, reconnaissance. For decades, virtually every fighter pilot in the IAF would have flown a variant of the MiG-21. On Friday in Chandigarh, she flies into the sunset. At 12:05 p.m., 6 Bison variants, led by Air Chief Marshal A.P. Singh, call sign Badal 3, will soar in a final formation, their delta wings cutting through the skies one last time. A water cannon salute will honor the jets upon landing, with Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and the top brass in attendance. Among the pilots, Squadron Leader Priya Sharma of the number 23 Panthers Squadron will symbolize the MiG-21's role in empowering generations, now transitioning to Sukhois and to Rafales. Since April 1963, when the first MiG-21s arrived from the Soviet Union, over 1,200 jets served as the Indian Air Force's backbone. From the 1971 war's Paramveer Chakra heroics to Kargil and Balakot, this Mach II marvel defined aerial valor. Yet with over 300 crashes and aging airframes, retirement is due. Up till 2006, the Indian Air Force was known as a MiG Air Force, operating the MiG-21, the 23, 25, 27 and the MiG-29. Today it's just the MiG-29 that remains in IAF service. The MiG-21's replacement is the Tejas, now being inducted into the Indian Air Force in large numbers. For the last time, though, in Chandigarh, tomorrow, the MiG-21's legacy will fly on. Vishnu for NDTV.
Across the country.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security and international affairs. And now, Aditya Raj Kaul begins a new chapter at NDTV.
Actually, I'm taking off because the stories I cover don't sit still. To bring the world to India and to take India to the world, I need to be where action is.
Aditya Raj Kaul, covering international affairs like no one else, only on NDTV network.
हेलो
हेलो
बोलिए मैडम डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है।
मैडम एक बात को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए ये तो बताओ कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire Dabba trading scam.
Rajasthan is history, culture, and much more. And I have been reporting on all things royal for more than 25 years.
The colors, the culture, and the complexities of the Northeast is different from the rest of the country. I have been bringing the Northeast closer to the capital for over 15 years. Madhya Pradesh is the heart of India, and I have been capturing its every beat for over 10 years, covering the corridors of power. What is said, what is left unsaid, and what it actually means for you and me. I have it all covered.
Kashmir is often called paradise on earth, a region that has been in a state of flux from conflict to India's crowning glory. I have been reporting and decoding Jammu and Kashmir for last 3 decades.
The world's defining stage. Leaders, visionaries, decision makers, confronting the challenges of our time.
हमारा प्रयास होगा भारत की सेंचुरी सिर्फ भारत की नहीं बल्कि पूरी मानवता की जीत की सेंचुरी बने।
NDTV World Summit 2025, Edge of the Unknown, 17th to 18th October, only on NDTV.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Now the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves and Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash.
Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister Edappadi Palanisamy begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Pulling us into this
administration party.
They argue, I conclude. They deflect, I drill down. This isn't a free-for-all. It's a reckoning. No filler, no fog. Only the facts and where they lead. Every night at 9, the case closes because the buck stops here.
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है, सबको तिल का ताड़.
On the fighter, someone who flew the jet in combat and then rose to become the chief of the air staff, spoke to Vishnu and me on a podcast very recently, and it has rapidly become one of the most listened to and most watched videos of a pilot in a MiG-21 cockpit. This is Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa in conversation with Vishnu and me. Welcome to Control Alt Defense, India's most watched defense and aerospace podcast. The MiG-21, one of the most iconic fighters in the Indian Air Force, is about to retire after over 60 years in service. And our very special guest with Vishnu and me today is someone who probably knows more about the MiG-21 than any person alive. And it is our unique honor to welcome Air Chief Marshal Birinder Singh Dhanoa to Control Alt Defense. It is an honor, and he's come to the NDTV offices to be part of this podcast. Welcome, sir. Thank you for being here with us.
Oh, thank you for calling me. And I don't know, I'm not the last word on MiG-21, please.
Oh, no, we've now decided you are, and what we say is final.
We've heard you say that before, but
no, I'm not the last word.
We will, and that proves to us that you are the last word. But anyway, we'll put that aside, and this podcast will prove something else. It's incredible, Air Chief. We'd like to kick it off by obviously asking you about your thoughts, your sentiments, from your young pilot days through, all your flying time. The MiG-21 has been such an integral part of your life as a pilot. Your feelings with an end date finally in sight for the MiG-21.
See, there were various variants of the MiG-21, and the most advanced variant of the MiG-21, the Bison, is going to retire, and other variants have gone. Like my aircraft MiG-21 MMF retired on December 2019, 3 months after I retired. So this version was the most advanced version, and I myself mainly flew only 2 versions. The Type 77, on which I did my MOF training in Tezpur, and then the Type 96. So, and in this time in which I flew the Type 96, there was hardly any, you can say, improvement or modification other than one GPS came to our this thing, and we became tigers in navigation. Otherwise, you are practically flying the same aircraft throughout. Very demanding, but a very, very, very good aircraft. Amongst its peers of that time, that is the Phantom F4 and the Mirage 3, it was the most maneuverable aircraft.
Chief, give us your favorite MiG-21 story with you at the controls.
No, there are many stories in which you are,
spoiled for choice. You have done very harrowing things, sir. So the idea over here is to get you to talk about
I'm not
MiG-21
it is
scenario,
not by,
which is...
It is not by design. There are a lot of times when, I think my mother's prayer and God has been with me that I have survived. So, I remember once I got airborne from Jamnagar, the runway 24. And in Jamnagar, what happens is, because we have the range next to us, so unlike a normal one in which you turn after 1 minute and 15 seconds for any navigation, for 24 you should turn after 45 seconds, so as not to go over the range. So I was turning at 45 seconds, and we were doing MOF conversion of some pilots. So this guy was rolling into the dive to fire his weapon, and the guy had got delayed. In fact, he should have aborted. He didn't abort. And when I turned to the left hand, I saw him. I just saw his tail. I knew black tail. I also knew it was my Squadron aircraft. I was the flight commander. I kept my mouth shut. I didn't tell anyone that I had such a near miss.
Wow.
It was so close that I didn't see the full size of the aircraft. Okay, then of course he went into the dive, and then when I came back, I let him have it.
Wow.
So,
Near miss.
A lot of times.
Just a few feet away from him.
Yeah, like this. I was turning like this, and
he was like that.
and it was so big that I could see only his tail.
Right.
That we are that close to each other.
Incredible.
Tell us more stories, sir.
No, what stories you want to know?
Tell us more exciting stories of you in the MiG-21. One of the most exciting stories that MiG-21 pilots tell us is often landing. And the first experiences of a young pilot in landing something at more than 300 kilometers per hour.
When, as far as MiG-21, I told you it is one of the highest landing speeds in the world. It is, like when you are about 500 odd kilometers on downwind, then 450 kilometers. 400 kilometers, you can convert it into knots, whatever, 190 knots or something, is the speed that you roll out on finals. And thereafter, there is a variable speed approach. And you flare out with 320 kilometers per hour. So, if you convert it into knots, it is far more than what the Airbus, 140, 45 knots that they flare out on. So, it was a high-speed aircraft. And not only that, the speed used to change every 100 meters. There was a height speed combination. Okay, like 300 meters AGL you were 400, 200 meters AGL you were 380, 100 meters AGL you were 360. Then the blown flaps used to cut in, and the last 100 crossing the fence 340 and flare out 320. Now this whole combination had to work out right. Now we also had after I had introduced it as the CO, but thereafter it came throughout the fleet, that there were cutoffs. Like if you crossed 100 meters and you are 380, you go around. You don't try your skills in trying to land the aircraft after that. So it's a variable speed approach. Unlike now as you know, I've flown the Airbus simulator.
Yeah.
You fatigue, you tell the guy the system, and they maintain the speed to the knot. And fixed speed right through. Here in our case, we had to do everything ourselves, and the speed was variable all this time. And trying and doing all this in poor visibility, in which you don't want to look inside because you lose the runway. So there are a lot of these, you can say, heart in the mouth situations when you fly a MiG-21.
Take us through, Air Chief, the first time you sat in a MiG-21. Recall that for us. What was that like? What had you heard about the aircraft? What were you anticipating, and what was that first flight for you like in a MiG-21?
See, our trifurcation in fighters to MiG-21, Sukhois and Nats that time took place in Kalaikunda, Hunters, when we were in Hunters. We had opted for MiG-21, and 10 of us were sent for MiG-21. So surprisingly, first time when you sit in that side of MiG-21 is when it is in the hangar. You're not flying. You're sitting inside and you're trying to learn your checks, procedures and emergencies, because you have to know it backwards, and then you have to pass that gen test in which you're supposed to get 90% in aircraft gen and things like that, checks, procedure, and 100% in emergencies. If you fail, they don't let you fly. So first time you sit is in the hangar. You don't sit when you are flying. And then of course, first time you go you sit in the two-seater. That is in the trainer in the front cockpit with somebody who supervises your start. And actually the thing is that there is no time for feelings, because you got so many things to do. You are just trying to make sure you don't do anything wrong. Okay, so I mean there is no melancholy or sentiment. No.
Sense of longing.
No, nothing. You are very busy.
How would you look at that day when it finally happens? About 2/3 of all IAF pilots have been MiG-21 pilots at some stage. Would you bittersweet for you? I mean, those are my words. How would you look at that day?
A lot of nostalgia, and the question is, our heart is there, but the mind should say very clearly that it was time that it has gone out.
Right.
Because in a battle environment of today, it became difficult for it to survive.
After your rejection, Chief, how did your family deal with you getting back into the? I want to know that as well.
That is a very interesting thing, you permit me some time.
Yes, please.
You see, I told you, our squadron, I used to call it the 101 Para Brigade, because we had 8 ejections in a span of 3 years. So there was this flying officer, that time was Flight Lieutenant Nandi. The guy ejected over in Ambala when he was doing an air test or something. So the CO, late Jeffrey Beccaro, he was getting airborne in a fighter to go and have a look at him in Ambala. So he got airborne from Sirsa and he had a body ejected over Sirsa.
Oh man.
So the wife, I believe, I was not in the squadron at that time. The first person to tell her was a Dhobi कि साहब का accident हो गया. तो she said no, Nandi साहब का accident हो गया. कहता नंदी साहब का अम्बाला में है, साहब का यहाँ पे हो गया.
Oh God.
So after that we had a system. We had a system in the squadron that we isolate the lady, made sure the Dhobi doesn't go and tell her something. Okay, so.
Keep the Dhobi away from the squadron.
Anyone. So they isolated my wife. I was newly married for 6 months. She had no clue what I was doing. And then till the time, the ambulance reached me, I was safe and sound. And then, she said I found it very awkward that I saw the CO and his wife coming. Then I saw the station commander and his wife coming. So she was surprised, why have they come to meet me? So that is when she came to know that he is ejected and he is fine and we are getting him to the hospital. Normally, you prevent other people from, dropping the bombshell.
Yeah. Final question then, Chief. You retired as the Chief of the Air Staff 6 years ago, 2019. This is a question that, I see a lot of people asking pilots and veterans. It may sound like a silly question, but believe me, people are curious about this. If you got into a MiG-21 right now, would you need to familiarize yourself or would you be able to fly it immediately?
No. Lot of familiarization.
Yeah.
You see, when I was the chief, when I used to fly as the chief, I used to call a youngster from the squadron.
Ah, okay.
Okay, he used to sit in front of me in the chief's office and I used to open the flip card, checks, procedures and emergencies. I used to tell him. He used to call out an emergency, I had to read it out. And then he used to say, sir, this you have missed. Then I had gone to Hindon, there's a ejection seat simulator there. I've done that also. God forbid if I have to eject, my hand should not get broken with those arm guard. So I used to do that. Then I used to go to that squadron and then fly a two-seater. And sometimes the CO used to give me one, sometimes he even used to give me two sorties before he used to launch me solo. And then I went, see, laws of physics. Aircraft does not know who is inside. Man or woman, flying officer or air chief marshal. So laws of physics prevail. So there is no this thing on there. If you have to fly solo from the front or from the front cockpit, you have to give it a lot of time. Okay, otherwise you should not be there. Otherwise you are riding on luck.
Incredible. I mean, Vishnu, any final questions or words?
No, it's just wonderful speaking to you and to hear your words as such an experienced aviator, became our chief, fought us and for us in Balakot, your experiences on the MiG-21 and what a platform it's been. But it's time to say goodbye and I think we're happy to say goodbye. Lots of memories.
Friday morning in Chandigarh is when the last of the MiG-21s finally fly for the last time. It's incredible. Not just the last Indian Air Force MiG-21s, but the last MiG-21s anywhere in the world. It's a big, overwhelming moment, and NDTV will be there to bring you every second of it. Thanks for watching.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro, most stunning true color pro grade camera. Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Grab Motorola Edge 60 Pro today.
No journalist in India has flown in more fighters. The F-16, the F-18, the MiG-35, the Su-30 MKI, the Sea Harrier, the Tejas, the Gripen, the Mirage 2000. But there's one that's always eluded me. And now it's flying into the sunset. But I'll still be going
to bid the MiG-21 goodbye.
The best app to use is the NDTV app.
दुनिया भर में जब भी भारतीय मीडिया की चर्चा होती है तो एनडीटीवी सबसे पहले जिक्र में आता है।
मैं आपका बात से सहमत हूं, उल्टे हम भी जब विदेश जाते हैं, the best app to use is the NDTV app.
What we witnessed was complete synergy.
Army bakes up the genes in you to take on challenges, be it the battlefield or in any facet of life.
When we are using drones as a weapon, it's going to be used against us as a weapon as well.
The biggest threat is EW. Like we are using our EW to counter adversaries.
Ladies out there, please come and join the Indian Armed Forces.
NDTV Good Times is something that we're supremely excited about.
We just don't want to do live entertainment. We want to create experience for you.
And NDTV Good Times is one of the most marquee and iconic ideas that NDTV came up with.
मेरा जो रिश्ता है एनडीटीवी के साथ वो बहुत बहुत पुराना है।
और रहमान सोनू निगम के लिए जोरदार तालियां।
ब्रेकिंग न्यूज का जमाना है। सबको तिल का ताड़ और राई का पहाड़ बनाना है। ऐसे में जनता के जूते के अंदर फंसा कंकड़ कौन देखे? बड़े बड़े मुद्दों के शोर में जमीन से जुड़े मुद्दे अक्सर खो जाते हैं। लेकिन देश तरक्की तब करता है जब जनता के माथे की शिकन हमारी हेडलाइंस बनती है। मैं सैयद सुहेल भारत को जीता हूं, भारत की बात बताता हूं एनडीटीवी इंडिया पर।
We see the problems, but you as a social entrepreneur see the solutions. You are not just creating solution, you are creating a future where everyone has a chance to thrive. For the change makers, the innovators, the ones building a better world, one solution at a time. The Adani Green Talk Social Impact Awards are created for you. Green Talk Social Impact Awards 2025, coming soon.
He has tracked the pulse of power from Washington to Korea. Witnessed history being made in global capitals and conflict zones. Brought clarity to complex issues of national security.
Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV. I'm Aditi Bhardwaj and let's take a look at the top stories that we are tracking here at this hour. 4 members of Leh Apex Body and Kargil's KDA to visit Delhi on September 26 for talks with the Ministry of Home Affairs. Wipro founder and chairman Azim Premji declines to open the company's campus to outside traffic for use as a thoroughfare after Chief Minister Siddaramaiah sought cooperation to decongest Bengaluru roads in the area. NCB officer Sameer Wankhede files defamation suit against Aryan Khan's show, seeks damages worth rupees 2 crore against the show's producer over his portrayal. Delhi High Court set to hear the plea on September 26. In the Zubeen Garg's death case, Assam SIT raids homes of manager of Zubeen Garg, event organizer. Locals pelted stones on police vehicles and demand where is Siddharth Sarma. Union ministers and veteran strategists have been deployed in challenging and politically crucial states, signalling the party's intent to minimize local factionalism and maximize central alignment. And legendary MiG-21 retires Indian Air Force to hold a decommissioning flypast in Chandigarh on September 26. Breaking news coming in at this hour, the Hyderabad Metro project, L&T is now going to exit this project and hand it over to Telangana government. This is when they are both in advanced stages of negotiations. Exit is likely after some turbulence. My colleague Uma Sudhir is joining me for more details. Uma, tell us why L&T is exiting the project.
So the Telangana government has been wanting to go for a phase 2 of the project, 163 kilometers, citing the fact that in 2014, Hyderabad had the second longest metro network in the country at just 69.2 kilometers, whereas now it stands 9th in the country, and they want to go in for a phase 2 expansion, whereas L&T does not want to come in either as an equity partner for phase 2, neither does it want to have a definitive agreement with the government so that there is operational integration between phase 1 and phase 2, which is now proposed to be done by the state government in collaboration, of course, with the central government. The central government had insisted that there should be a definitive agreement for it. L&T for quite some time now has been saying that there's a huge amount of money that's pending that they need to receive, and therefore said it is not willing to go in either for becoming an equity partner or for having a definitive agreement for the phase 2 and phase 1, and therefore they have proposed that they will exit. The in-principle agreement has happened, but how much of money will be paid, that has not yet been worked out, while the CMD of L&T, Subramanian, suggested that 5,900 crore rupees should be paid to them for equity value, and also that 13,000 crore rupees debt should be taken over. The Chief Minister has proposed that while they take over the entire debt, they will have a one-time settlement of about 2,000 crore rupees that they are proposed to pay to L&T. So while the details have to be worked out, now it is becoming more and more clear that L&T is going to exit, and the state government will completely take over the phase 1 in order to facilitate the building of phase 2 as well.
Right. Thank you so much, Uma, for joining us with that quick update. Shifting our focus now, the Bengaluru infra mess getting messier every day, with Wipro founder Azim Premji, who has now politely declined Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaia's request to open the sprawling Wipro campus to restricted traffic access to ease the traffic situation on the outer ring road in Bengaluru. Responding to the request from Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, Azim Premji wrote a letter stating that the campus is in a SEZ with strict access control norms. He has further suggested an expert-led study to develop long-term solutions. He has pointed out that the issue requires a comprehensive data-driven approach rather than piece-means fixes. Last evening, the government held a consultation with various stakeholders, including Biocon Chief Kiran Majumdar-Shaw, amongst others, to discuss solutions, and has set a 90-day deadline. The onus that everybody is happier with this or not remains to be seen, but the pothole and traffic infra mess in Bengaluru gets murkier every day.
It's such a heartwarming thing to see that the police officers, the traffic police in fact, are filling up potholes, but the unfortunate aspect here is that this is not their job. Their job is to ensure that there is traffic that's cleared, but this is what they're left doing, because they don't want people who are flying on this stretch of the road to go on this bumpy ride. As you can see, when the vehicle passes through that stretch, multiple potholes there, and what it does lead to is accidents and also slow moving traffic. And here you have both the constables really trying to help out, and it is on one hand heartwarming, but on the other hand it's unfortunate that they are left to do something that the GBA now, or the officials of the corporation, should be doing.
And more news coming in from Karnataka, where Karnataka High Court has been hearing the Karnataka caste survey plea, and the caste survey will continue. Karnataka court refuses to intervene and stay the survey. The government will have to make it clear that there is no compulsion for people to participate or give information. The court said that there should be no obligation on the people, and people should come and fill the information in the survey voluntarily. Listen in to